How to fix high FPS input lag and stuttering in Valorant. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, we are tackling a frustrating issue where your game shows over 250 frames per second, but you still experience severe input lag and visual stuttering. We tested every potential engine bottleneck, and our deep analysis revealed a specific combination of BIOS, Windows, and hardware-level fixes that completely eliminate this problem. Our testing showed that looking strictly at maximum frame rates can easily mask severe micro-stuttering during intense game calculations. You must enable the 1% low frames per second metric inside the MSI Afterburner overlay to accurately diagnose your pacing drops. This specific metric reveals the actual performance floor your computer hits when multiple ultimate abilities are deployed on the screen. Teknobalta's analysis revealed that overall processor utilization can look completely normal, even when a single core is aggressively bottlenecking the game engine. Enable individual central processing unit core monitoring in your statistics software to easily spot any hardware threads hitting maximum capacity. If even one core spikes to its limit, it instantly creates a massive pipeline backup that translates directly into mouse movement delay. We confirmed that modern processors entering deep micro-sleep states to conserve power will cause massive latency spikes upon waking up to process game data. Restart your system, enter the motherboard BIOS, navigate directly to the advanced processor settings, and entirely disable the global C-states option. This strict modification forces your hardware to remain fully active and constantly ready for instant instruction execution. During our intensive diagnostics, we observed that different silicon architectures handle these advanced power states very poorly during high refresh rate competitive gaming. Disabling these internal sleep states stops the processor from fluctuating its voltages unnecessarily while you are holding an angle. This single fundamental change drastically improves your crosshair tracking smoothness and overall frame time consistency. When stress testing these specific BIOS tweaks, we analyzed how deep sleep package states completely halt the processor's internal ring bus communications. By preventing your system from ever entering the lower C6 or C7 power states, you permanently eliminate the hardware wake-up penalty. Your gameplay will immediately feel incredibly responsive because the processor no longer hesitates before processing your physical mouse clicks. Teknobalta independently discovered that the default Windows operating system timer can easily desynchronize with the internal tick rate of the game engine. Open your command prompt application as an administrator and execute the command bcdedit/set disable dynamic tick yes. This specific command forces Windows to stop pausing its internal system timer, ensuring perfect temporal synchronization with your active game application. During our peripheral investigation, we found that standard Windows input processing layers add highly unnecessary latency to modern performance gaming mice. Navigate immediately to your General Games Settings menu and enable the Beta Raw Input Buffer feature. This crucial setting allows the game engine to communicate directly with your mouse hardware, bypassing the sluggish operating system interpretation entirely. Our strict testing confirmed that graphic rendering queues introduce heavy input lag, even if you are using an extremely high-end graphics processing unit. Open your video settings and set the NVIDIA Reflex low latency option to on plus boost. This aggressive configuration forces your graphics card clock speeds to remain elevated and completely eliminates the render queue backup pipeline. We thoroughly investigated several popular gaming peripherals and found that excessively high polling rates can easily overwhelm slightly older generation processors. Open your dedicated peripheral software and test dropping your hardware polling rate from 1000 Hz down to 500 Hz. If your processor is currently struggling to keep up, this adjustment immediately smooths out your micro adjustments. Teknobalta's engineering team realized that default Windows power profiles will dynamically downclock your hardware during very brief lulls in match action. Open your traditional control panel, navigate to Power Options, and permanently select the High-Performance Power Plan. Next, open the NVIDIA control panel and set the power management mode, specifically to prefer maximum performance. Our data analysis showed that playing on absolute lowest graphical settings can actually cause graphics card utilization to drop dangerously low, leading to aggressive downclocking. We highly recommend turning on Multisample Anti-Aliasing to artificially increase the computational load on your graphics hardware. This strategic load forces the frequency to remain incredibly static and heavily prevents unexpected visual stuttering. While rigorously testing various graphical presets, we noticed that fast approximate anti-aliasing introduces a slight post-processing blur and noticeable render latency. You must completely disable FXAA within the graphics menu and rely exclusively on standard multisampling techniques. Your rendered frames will become much more consistent during rapid camera movements and aggressive flick shots. We encountered several isolated instances where specific motherboard chipsets failed to properly route sustained power to high-end processors during intense gaming sessions. Download the absolute latest BIOS firmware revision from your manufacturer's official website and carefully flash it using an empty USB drive. This critical update ensures maximum hardware compatibility and highly optimal power delivery for stabilizing frame times. After significantly altering your core hardware or applying these deep registry tweaks, legacy driver conflicts can easily cause persistent, invisible input lag. We strongly suggest performing a completely clean format and reinstallation of your Windows operating system to clear corrupted data. This extreme measure purges all conflicting legacy drivers and gives your competitive games a perfectly pristine environment. Our testing absolutely proved that pushing 240 frames per second consistently requires a massive amount of modern processor computational power. If you are utilizing an older generation processor, your powerful graphics card will be constantly forced to wait for basic instructions. Upgrading to a modern, cache-heavy processor architecture is the ultimate hardware solution for permanently eliminating this bottleneck. Teknobalta verified that pushing anisotropic filtering to its absolute maximum value does not negatively impact modern graphics processing performance in this specific title. By maximizing this texture filtering setting, you stabilize the overall graphic rendering pipeline without sacrificing your crucial competitive frame rates. We tested this configuration extensively and confirmed it provides superior visual clarity with zero added input latency penalty. We finalized our investigation by concluding that pairing a high refresh rate monitor with a severely bottlenecked processor will always result in perceived stuttering. If your frame rate dips below your monitor's native refresh capability during combat, the resulting desynchronization feels identical to network lag. Ensuring your 1% low frame rates remain above your hardware refresh rate is the absolute key to flawless competitive performance. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more about